Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I thought we'd do a continuation of what we were talking about last time, which was related to contour lines and overall just a basic intro to the event Road Scholar. And so, like I said, I was planning on doing this video on how to draw the profile. And so, just a quick intro. Um, Basically, the map profile is kind of like a side view of the terrain along a specific point. And like you can see in this image, basically what it's asking you is to draw the profile from point A to point B. And the real purpose of these profiles, other than just being on the test, is to help people understand the overall shape of hills, valleys, slopes, etc., without actually having to go like to the location themselves and check. And so, how you would typically do this is you would want to place a strip of paper along the line you're analyzing, which for us would be from point A to point B. However, since we don't have a piece of paper, we're just going to do it online. But with a piece of paper, you would line it up with the line. You would mark where each of these contour lines crosses the paper and then transfer it and mark it to the graph. And so, since we don't really have the paper of it, I'll do my best with the online version. And so, the first thing you want to do, obviously, this is typically given to you, but here it's not, is you're going to draw kind of like an X and Y axis. And so the the X axis is just the points. So maybe this is point A, and let's try to get it the same distance. It's probably longer like that. And this is point B maybe. Okay, and then with your elevation, I believe it's in feet at this point. And if we take a look, the first question here asks us to graduate the y-axis to match the elevations of the index contours. So if you remember from our last video what index contours are, and these are the thick black lines over there which are labeled. And so it's asking us to graduate the y-axis to match these elevations. And so we can see here that the highest label elevation is 4,400. And so clearly this point A, which is right here, is not on the line 4,400. So we're going to draw a 4,200. Then we're going to go 4,400, 4,600, and then 4,800, because clearly this point, we go to 600, then we go up to this hill, and then we go back down. So we'd want the 800 point to be there. Actually, I'm going to change colors to red so you guys can see what I'm drawing. Alright, so next it asks, plot the index contours only, show each point as a dot in a circle. And so here you would want to line up a piece of paper over here and then mark exactly where each index contour lies. For now, we're just going to do just by eye. And so we can see that point A is less than this index contour of 4,400. And so that means our line starts, somewhere over here. Okay? And so it said we're going to plot this with a dot and a circle. And then we see that our line goes up to 4,400. So we're going to plot that right there. Then we see it keeps going up and it hits 4,600. So maybe we'll plot that over there. Then, as we can see, it goes up again to 4,800. So we will go up there and plot. We will go up there and plot that. And then we can see that it goes back down to 4,600. And so, given the fact that this is some sort of hill, we would assume, because we can see the circulating lines, typically the hills would go up a little bit and then come back down. Because no hill is really just a flat top, right? You always see it has kind of like a curve. And then you can see it goes back down to 600. So we reach 600 again. Then we can see it goes down and then it goes back up to 4,600. And so we're just going to go up. Oh, whoops. We're going to go up and back down. And then we can see that it goes up again because of the hill and then back down. And so we're going to go once again up and then, we go up and then back down. And then at the end at B, it goes all the way down to 4,400. So that is what the plotting should somewhat look like. Obviously, if you're doing this on paper, it's going to look a lot more accurate. But now it's going to say, determine the highest point on the north or the left summit, plot and show the elevation. And so if you might have guessed, the highest point is this point right here. And so it's asking us to figure out what this point is. And so really, we know that this line is a 4,800 line, this line is a 4,600 line, and that we know it goes up and then back down. All right? And so we know right now, if we take a look at our our contour interval, we can see when we have 400 and then 600, it goes up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And so 200 divided by 5 is just going to be 40. And so what we're going to see here is that if it goes up to 4,839, and then it goes back down, it reaches 4,600. And so that's the way we can guess that the highest possible point here is going to be 4,839 feet. And then it asks for the highest possible point on the the south right summit. And so once again, we can see that it goes up, but it never actually makes another index contour of 4,800. And so if we count up, we get 40, 80, 120. So we are at 4,720. And if we were to go 40 more, we would reach 4,760. However, obviously you can't see a line there. And so it's going to be 4,759 over there. And then lastly, the last question asks us to figure out the lowest possible point between the two summits. And that's really just going to be this dip over here. And so again, with a little bit of calculation, you should be able to figure out that this dip over there is 4,481. All right. So lastly, it just asks us to connect the points, which we already did. And that is basically the first profile we've ever done. And with the actual map, if you notice, this map scan comes from the 2017 map. So typically you would be provided this map, which they're talking about. And so with the actual map, it might be slightly easier. But really, this is the way that you're supposed to do it. All right, so next up, I have a practice problem for you guys. Just to make it a little easier for you, I'm going to give you the hint because some of this, writing and stuff is a little bit unclear. The contour interval should be 20 feet, I believe, for this map. Oh, well, it says right there. Whoops. All right. And what I'm going to do is I'm also going to label all the elevations, which you should be getting. Uh, 2980, 2960, 2940, 2920, 2900, and 2880. All right. And what you're going to do here is you also want to label where the stream is. And yeah, it does mention that label point A, B, and the stream. All right. So feel free to pause this video, give this out a shot, and yeah. All right, so hopefully you guys tried it out. And I kind of wanted to show what the paper way of doing this would be. And so basically, you would, let's take green. You would line up a paper that goes from here all the way across there and that. And let's pretend that's my paper, right? And so on this paper over here, I'm going to label that this is point A. Then I'm going to mark each one of these lines on my paper. And I'm going to see, hey, that's a contour interval. That is 300, right? And then I'm going to keep marking each of these lines. And then I'm going to say, hey, that is the stream. So let's mark that as the stream. We keep marking here, 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 here. Hey, that's another line, and that happens to be 300 as well. And here we go. Keep going until we reach our point B. And so now that we have that, what I can do is I can kind of lasso select all of this, and perhaps it moves. Oh, there we go. It moves right down there. Okay, so now if we try this out, we can see that point A, if we have a contour interval of 320, so we have 3,000 is going to go right over here. 3,200, 3,020, 3,040. And so point A is just slightly above that. And so we'll just put point A over there. Okay. And then if we keep matching up the points, we see that this is over there. This goes here. And then we've reached the 3,000 point. We keep going 290, 260, 40, 20. All right, and when we reach 320, we know that the stream is over there. So the stream is always going to go a little bit under. The stream won't go up in elevation. It'll always go down. We have the stream there, and then we're going to keep climbing back up until we reach the 3,000 point again. And then our contour lines kind of get a little bit more spaced apart. 340. 360 with the last one ending just slightly above 360 at B over there. And so now if we were to connect all of these lines, we get that kind of shape. And then lastly, the question will ask you to label point A. So we have point A, point B, and then we have the stream right there. So now if I get rid of my drawings on the bottom, this is what your contour profile should look like at the end. So hopefully this helped you guys out, and hopefully now you guys understand how to draw a topographic maps profile. These questions are easily worth a good solid amount of points, and they're probably some of the easiest questions you will encounter on the test. Next video, I will hopefully be teaching you guys how to draw the student created maps. So please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you.